What's worse than cold Thai soup with warm prawn cocktail?
Scott, Grant, and Gordon from Frightened Rabbit tell us on this episode of Worst Gig Ever.
Peace.
Scott, Grant, Gordon, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers.
Welcome,
Cheers.
guys.
This
Can
is
I just
great.
say, you all look scrumptious.
Oh, really?
today.
Scrumptious?
Yeah.
First things first, and you guys give us one of your worst gigs ever.
Okay. What an incredible introduction, Mike. Worst show I've ever done was in Vegas. I'm sure you have experience of playing there.
Nope.
Never had a good show in Vegas.
It's not really a music town.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, that's putting it lightly.
Well, Elton John does all right.
Well,
there.
yeah, sorry,
Barbra
yeah.
Streisand,
No,
they-
great music town.
Elton John
of course.
does
What
well
am I thinking?
everywhere.
Yeah. So we were playing in the parking lot of a bar, essentially, out the back.
Outside.
Outside. The makeup of it was very much like the worst show you could play at South by Southwest. You know,
Right.
like there were gaps in the planks that the stage was put together with.
Yeah, sections you couldn't stand on.
Yeah,
It's not great.
Neon
when
tape
you're on
sort
the
of saying,
stage.
don't,
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
just...
Wait, did they warn you, or did you figure it out as you went along?
I think Andy figured it out by
perfect.
almost going through
Yeah.
the stage. So
The people who owned it seemed perfectly happy with it.
Good stage, right?
Yeah.
Completely inappropriate.
It was a perfect storm. Terrible venue. We were in old Vegas, not new fancy Vegas.
Sin City.
We went down to the casinos there quite early in the afternoon. Quickly realized that by simply putting pennies in the slots, you could get free margaritas all afternoon.
even then, the margaritas were only $1 if you
Yeah,
had to pay for them anyway.
If you had
So
to-
it's
if you
like,
had to
I'll
cop
put 4
up.
quarters in here, or I'll just go to the bar.
Either way, you're drinking margaritas.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
So there were a lot of those. We also had, you know, I don't mind saying it, the worst sound guy that we've ever had. And to the point where I was aware, I'm going to get technical here, all right?
Okay.
So I was on stage, okay, drunk, fine. Fine, but that's not my, that's not.
Of course, that's dollar margaritas all day.
What do
am
they
a-
expect of you?
I know, right. So I'm aware that the kick drum, because this is a hollow stage, I'm feeling every kick, has been gated.
Okay.
And you know what that means?
For the listener, gating is when they take a sound, in this case a kick drum, cut off usually the highs and the lows to get a perfect sound that's right in the middle and terrible.
But he had inappropriately gated this kick drum to the point where it was only coming through a portion of the time. And I was aware of this. I was also not enjoying the show. But that was the kind of final straw. So we did a solid 25 minutes.
With those 25 minutes, we were in a car park outdoors. It was still light.
Best time for rock.
Yeah, so we could see
yeah.
him. We could see him just talking to a girl for the whole 25 minutes.
Adding
just
insult
like
to
chatting
injury.
away. We were like, is he even
Over at the bar.
This is the same. This is the same sound engineer who came down after a show in New York. We were staying in a hotel, and he came down the next day and said he'd received 7 blowjobs from one girl, right? And this, the thing about this is, I kind of think this is too many, or he thinks that one blowjob is in and out. Like, and then he got 7 ins and outs.
Oh, 7 pump stairs.
This guy, yeah. He will remain nameless, but he
just-
shouldn't, because nobody should hire him.
It was Phil Spector. is what you're saying.
We keep seeing him again and again. Actually, last time was at South by Southwest. He just started working for the Flaming Lips, and I was like, that's not going to last long. Then we saw the Flaming Lips again in Seattle around 2 months later. Lo and behold.
different guy?
surprise.
Different guy.
So I stormed off and refused to go back on stage. Now that's, it's a little bit.
Prima donna.
It's slightly, yeah.
The margaritas were
But,
talking.
yeah.
given the circumstances, sounds sort of
There was
wit's end.
It was. I think it was also. Scott was making the point that we're essentially torturing these people who have paid money to see us, and that's not fair.
Right.
So then after that, I sent a postcard from Vegas to our booking agent, Tim, who we both know, and said, if you ever make me play here again, I'll stab you in the face. But he had warned us. We requested a gig in Vegas because
Right.
we were like, it's
Correct,
Vegas.
it was our
We
fault.
don't care how bad it is. We just want to go and see what it's all about and what it's like.
You saw what it was
And
all
he,
about.
and
was
he did
bad,
say,
and
he
I
was
did
like, you're
care,
going to
yeah.
hate this.
Sounds like someone was a Vegas baby.
It happens.
Good one.
All All right, guys, so you're doing a great job on the road. But before that, you probably had to have some terrible jobs. You got one you can tell us about?
Yeah, I worked for a year in the strangest shop in Glasgow, possibly, which is now shut down, incidentally.
Has it?
So
Yeah.
I think the good guys won. But they sold they would sell on one side it had musical instruments, banjos and cheap guitars and
PAs and
PA
stuff,
systems, yeah.
Right.
And on the other is air rifles and knives.
The musicians, everything.
Yes.
You know,
You cover all your bases, one-stop shop.
The main problem was we were selling the knives to Neds.
For the listener, a Ned is a slang term that means non-educated delinquent.
You know, you'd be selling them the knife that they would later on be threatening you with in
Right.
the street. In between selling knives to Neds and buying stolen guitars from the guitar shop next door from junkies, we were basically bitch workers, and they'd send us into the basement to clean out things. They had a storeroom round next to the local sauna, which is interesting. And that flooded one time. I had to go and basically it's a sort of sea of soggy boxes and just sort of sifting through that. And
Funnily enough, Billy.
Remember Billy telling me about a similar.
He worked in the same
The
shop.
bass player friend, right?
Yeah.
And
You're not going to make a joke about his amp.
Oh.
You're not going to even do that?
For the listener, Billy, the bass player Frightened Rabbit, has been using a high school jazz bass amp for the duration of their musical career, and is doing quite well with it, by
Mike
the
makes
way.
a joke about Billy's amp to me about once or twice a month. Yeah.
Did you guys work there at the same time?
no,
I don't think
No,
so.
because
no.
Billy
Yeah,
worked
had a very
there
high
for such
turnover.
a brief amount of time.
Because one day Billy had to, there was this flooding issue. Billy had to basically sort of mop out raw sewage,
Ugh.
and they instructed him to sort it out by just pouring bleach everywhere. And the other thing that I quite liked about Billy, when he worked there, said that the access to this stockroom, which was in the basement, was through the sex shop next door that the guy also owned.
you had an empire.
Sex shop, sauna.
That's my favorite
kind of,
block.
That was, you had to go in through the sex shop to get the keys for the storeroom,
Right,
and
that was it.
sort of be like.
Is that
"Right,
kind of
hi,
like when you
guys."
go on a roller coaster, you go through the shop at the end?
Right.
Or on a
They
ride.
force
or
you to the
get
souvenir
photographs.
shop.
Yeah.
You're going to have to
Yeah.
go
By a fist.
through the den of...
Yeah, I'm sure he got the idea from Disney. Just replaced it with fisting.
And this is how Billy got the nickname The King.
It certainly is.
the
Here's
king.
to the
Okay.
king.
Long live the King. You guys are so talented at so many things, but is there anything that perhaps you're not so good at?
I don't like to brag, but I can move my ears without touching them.
Let's see this.
It's gotta be seed.
Here we go. Let's see if this still works, because it's been a few years, but.
Oh yeah.
Are they going?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's also the slightest of your eyebrows.
Concentrate.
Just did a shit.
Just a little.
That's how I would describe that talent as well.
Cheers.
Cheers to your ears.
Moving ears, yeah.
So you guys want to scoop the mids and give us a second?
Let's gate this. Let's gate this f***ing thing.
Yes, let's do it. I have a particular tour memory. Touring's not all about the live shows and the fun and the partying, some work to be done.
Hard work.
Yeah, of course. It involves you being told to turn up places and do things not dissimilar to this, And one of them,
You're welcome.
one of them we were told we've got a day off, which we were meant to spend in Philly, and the label had organised a little session with a radio station. It meant we got a night in Atlantic City.
Hey,
Oh,
Never
hey.
been.
We
you know?
thought,
there
great.
you go.
This is going to be great fun. Never been there before.
You know how much we love Vegas.
Yeah, I know, exactly, yeah.
Gotta
So-
be good.
Just take that
Yeah.
down 100 notches.
Yeah. They were like, we're really sorry you have to do this on your day off. We'll give you a room each in the hotel. Trump Plaza.
Trump Plaza.
Everything is
which
coming
I
up
think
gold.
Most people may not know that not everybody gets their own room, even when you
It's
get
true,
hotel
that's
rooms.
true.
You usually have to
It's a
bunk
dream
up.
come
You have to
true,
bunk
the
up,
one.
yeah.
But Trump
Plaza.
Plaza hadn't been redecorated since '83.
Smells like cigarettes and dogs.
yeah.
I think that's most of Atlantic City.
I think it's true, yeah.
So we stayed the night there.
Had a great day going around the outlet stores.
That's what Atlantic City is known for, gambling and their great sales at those outlet stores.
Wonderful pantsuits.
Like walking around and laughing at literally every shoe that they had on display.
So this session wasn't even, it turns out, wasn't even in Atlantic City. That was just the halfway point. So we drove for an hour and a half.
To Paramus, New Jersey.
Yeah.
The heart of rock and roll.
It was just beside the road. A shop.
Pull off at a ditch and you'll be there.
Yeah. And we pulled up to a television store, TV store.
You were about to say studio, but it was actually a television store.
Could be better, it got worse.
No, it was a TV shop. And walked in. The guy from the radio met us. He was like, "Oh, the station's upstairs, but we'll just take you through here just now." We were like, "Okay." So the access is through the TV store, and then we'll go to the radio store. And he just showed us to the corner of the shop and was like, "So we'll just get you guys set up here." And we were like, "Okay, right." Turns out it was one of those, live at lunch things for people who pledge.
Which works brilliantly in Seattle with KXP and
Sure,
things like that.
yes,
They're
yes.
great shows,
But this one was, so they had this, so we set up in front of their biggest TV.
Yeah, they had a really big TV behind us, actually.
TV behind us. In front of us was a couch. We had our merch person was with us, sort of helping out, and Esteban, he sat on the couch and was told, sorry, that's for the silver member pledgers,
Two of them.
Yeah, two of them sat down like right in front of us.
Yeah. One guy was dressed in such a way and had such an attitude that I felt like a stripper in front of him. Like he was looking at me like I was naked.
Really
These are guys in the TV store
Yeah.
who are silver members.
Yeah.
Who just come in and hang out.
Yeah.
They put dollar bills in your pips.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was one of the best atmospheres we've had at a show before.
So
terrible. It was
uncomfortable.
awful. Yeah, and it was being broadcast live or online. We had to start a song again.
Yeah, there was a...
I had a little bit of phlegm in my throat. Well, there was no seltzer that day,
Hey,
so
you weren't working with pros.
come on.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. They're professionals at selling televisions.
Right. Live broadcasting shows, maybe not as much.
Not so much.
But were the silver members into it?
I don't think they even were.
No.
They
Just really came for the couch.
No, no one had any idea who we were.
No.
Genuinely. Usually, the promo is scheduled so that you could sell some tickets or sell some albums, or we weren't playing a show anywhere near there. I didn't see a venue, but unless they were planning
I bet
on
they
sending
sold
us on.
one television out of that. Maybe just someone who happened to be coming to see us.
That TV behind those
know
guys
what?
looked killer.
That is the definition on that.
Yeah, the band was whatever. But that, like, HDMI inputs was...
There's two of those on there?
You guys spend a lot of time touring the States, but you do live in a foreign country. So you are technically strangers in a strange land. Is there anything that you just can't get into? What's the worst thing about being in America?
I think there is a dearth of good quality service stations. We have these, they're kind of obviously gas stations, but there's a lot more to them. We're talking about Marks and Spencer's and Waitrose here, if you don't mind.
Right.
Where you can get like decent sort of gourmet-ish sandwiches, good fresh juices.
For the listener, and I mean by myself, can you define gourmet-ish? I have no idea what that means.
As in,
Gourmet.
not far off gourmet.
Gourmet.
Oh, a gourmet. I'm
Gourmet. It's kind of like it's kind of
gourmet-ish for me.
Kind of tastes like pork. And
Well, also I find I'm a big fan of chips, or as we call them, crisps, and the variety and of flavors in the UK is
far superior.
Yeah,
far
prawn
superior.
cocktail and
Prawn cocktail,
Ketchup.
beef
I
and
tell you
pickle.
what, that's another
Yeah.
thing. You can't get much prawn cocktail in its kind of like.
And I know you guys
purest
love
in its,
form.
in its
prawns.
non-crisp
I love
form.
prawns.
Oh yeah. We love a tom
You
yum.
guys love Thai soup.
knew that was
another
gonna
one
come
of
up.
Mike's.
I absolutely knew that was going to
He
come
has
up.
been hammering this joke ever since we were on tour.
Guys love Thai.
Hey, well,
Everybody loves Thai.
Can I say the worst thing about America is touring with you and you having us soup jibes every fucking day?
But it wasn't even
What
James.
is your problem?
It wasn't.
We liked soup.
I should also say no. Soup is great, and at the
Soup
time,
is good food.
At the time, I wasn't too into Thai food. I've since turned over those.
Yeah.
I have to apologize because when we did tour together, I made the grave mistake of asking if you guys knew what bowling was, and I realized that I offended you as soon as those words came out of my mouth. So this is an apology.
All right,
For
yeah.
that.
It was
It's like we're bringing two countries together here.
They weren't even jibes. It was just every day you would walk into the venue and the first thing you'd say is, "Had any soup?" Like, no, we've not had any soup yet. I might go for some soup.
We went for soup together like 3 times. 3 soups together in our entire lives, and now it's a thing.
But they were 3 meaningful.
Memorable
soups,
soups.
obviously.
So this
Really
thing's bowling.
memorable.
What?
So, gentlemen, a question that we ask all of our guests. What do you think of the word gig?
I dislike it. There's something. I always use the word show.
People use it for everything, as in just a job.
Right.
Oh, got this great gig coming up. It's like, it's not a gig
Right.
if you're just going to
A sex
clean
shop.
an old folks' home or wipe,
Clean up the
clean up
sewage.
the sewage.
Yeah.
It's not a gig. Great gig, man.
Right.
Cool.
I don't like the sound of it. I don't like the sound of it. I don't like the sound of it coming out of my own mouth. I don't like the sound of it coming out of your mouth.
Going into your mouth.
It's a dad word, isn't it? Sort of thing. So-
I'm also
Yeah,
wondering, though, from
it
the
is kind of a
international
dad-parent word.
perspective, though, is there a different take on it in your homeland?
No, it's
think so.
widely used.
Sucks there, just
And it is like you say, it's
like,
people,
got any gigs?
older
Any
folk
gigs
will
on?
use it because they think it's cool.
right.
Yeah.
Because in their mind a show is maybe what happens in Vegas,
Right.
whereas that's
And it usually stays in Vegas.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
You set them up.
What an asshole.
Great.
Yeah. So guys, we've come to a segment on the show called Do Your Best with Our Worst. We have for you a backpacker travel guitar, acoustic, or acousty, as we like to call it. And we also have a keyboard from 1987 that has very small keys.
Good year, a good year.
Solid year.
You guys want to regale us with a tune?
Why not?
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Let's
to
do
the
it.
stage.
Cheers. Yeah.
Performing wholly from their record Pedestrian Verse, here's Frightened Rabbit.
While you read to me from the right act, we on high, clutching crisp New Testament and breathing far. We see me the fake benevolence, don't have time. Nah, I'm just too far gone for telling, lost my pride. I don't mind being lonely, so leave me alone. Now you're acting all holy. Me, I'm just full of all holy when you know I'm full of holes. No, it might be lonely, don't need to be told. Stop acting so holy, I know I'm to Scarborough Fair.
Guys, what you got coming up in the near or distant future? Anything you want to plug?
Distant, we should probably talk about.
Yeah, let's go distant.
I'll probably be having a kid by the time I'm 35.
Whoa!
No, around 35. Like I was thinking about like a few years in the future. 40, hopefully I'll be buying a house, so look out for that whenever that starts happening.
What kind are you thinking?
Split level?
Nothing too fancy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not a split level?
No.
One level.
A double one.
Semi-detached?
Semi-detached.
Yeah, RV. No, seriously, next year is actually not a lot of. There's not a lot happening for Frightened Rabbit. There's a tour of Australia in January, and then we're going to start writing a new record. So that's really all that we're going to focus on. So there's nothing to plug other than the 4 albums we already have out.
Oh,
Still worth plugging.
Feel free.
You have albums out?
Yeah. They're available. You can probably get them for free, I guess. We usually do.
Way to sell those records.
They're available. They
exist in the world.
They're somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah. We're
You
not
look
telling you
hard.
where,
No.
though. You have to go.
You gotta do your work.
Check them out. Listen, Scott, Grant, Gordon, you guys have really been some of the worst guests that we've had so far. And as a token of our appreciation, we'd like to present you with this Worst Gig Ever statuette. Geoff, the statuette, please. Thank you. No pocket today.
No pocket.
Check out the statuette.
It's
Whoa.
a penis in a bun.
It's our first ever
You
one
noticed.
of these.
How did you know we liked those?
That's incredible. Did you make that at home?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Whittling that for
I made
hours.
it on
With
my
Feeble?
tiny grill, actually.
There's actually detail of inside the roll.
Yeah.
As if it's been cut open, sort of.
We don't cut corners
texture.
here.
No, I
that
like
is
that.
pretty
Yeah.
good.
There's texture in that.
They probably just
bun.
cut it open, I guess. They made a.
Yeah, but it's not bread,
you ever
though,
had
is it?
such?
So.
Well, it's wonderful. Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much.
Well, listen, you guys, you're far away from home. You've been on the road for a long time. Not sure where you're going next?
No idea.
I don't care. But we got 3 little words for you. And they're 3 little words that mean a lot. So from Geoff and I, get home safe.
Thank you.
We will.
We appreciate that.
Thank you, gents.
Next week on Worst Gig Ever.
So the tables have turned once again.
Ooh la la.
As always, thank you guys for watching. You want more worst gigs? Click on us. Subscribe.
Or if you want some audio versions, go check out our podcast and subscribe. Thank you.